Today on the show, I talk about the one question that makes all the difference. Who are you? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Upgrade My Rituals podcast. My name is Kevin McKella, and I always will be your host. Thank you so much for tuning in. So today, on this episode, on this awesome Thursday, I would like to talk to you about a thought that I had very recently about basically kind of defeating self-talk and defeating limiting beliefs that kind of creep into everybody's mindset, which is totally natural. It's a totally normal thing. And anybody who makes you feel otherwise is just fronting. I mean, it's just really actually ridiculous how people can't be honest, because we all have them. But here's the fear. So let me give you some more context. So it was a couple weeks ago, and I had a really busy week at work. And for those of you who don't know, I'm an outside sales rep for a digital marketing company. And, basically a lot of my job is to, prospect. Probably 70% of my job is maybe a little less, is prospecting for new business. Literally knocking on doors and say, hey, how are you? Guys need help with some, social media marketing? You need some help with your website? A little more strategic than that. But, and the other 30%, if you will, is account management, kind of details and, customer service type of stuff. Now, since I'm an outside sales rep, that means I'm traveling. I am doing a lot of, in my car a lot. I have complete autonomy of my schedule, which is amazing, but at the same time, very tricky. Even for me, who I like to think of myself as somewhat organized, considering I am a productivity coach. Even me, I mean, sometimes, like I said, mistakes happen. Things happen where things, and if you ever know I think this is from the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I forget, but it's the 4 boxes where you have, the zone of awesomeness, if you will, right? The things that are that you do that are important but not urgent. Sometimes there's things that are important and urgent, and you need to be doing those. And a couple of weeks ago, I found myself doing a lot of important and urgent things that threw my prospecting off, threw my scheduling off. So at the end of the week, I had, only 30 something visits. Now, our goals and our KPIs, which basically stands for Key Performance Indicators, is try to hit 50 visits throughout the week. And it was like halfway through the day on Thursday. And I just kind of said to myself, the week is over, basically, and what's the point? What's the point of me really trying to hustle? Because I'm not going to hit my 50. And even if I am, I don't think I'm going to set an appointment, or even a couple of appointments. Well, I'm back on sales. I'm not really, and see how this spirals. And I caught myself, and I'm like, man, I'm doing some of the things that I help my clients try to work through, and I'm like, wait a minute, hold on, hold the phone, and I just thought it was really fascinating that I started asking myself, what's the point? First of all, number one, the point is that I had a whole nother day and a half to try to get another 20 or so visits, which was totally doable if I really, really hunkered down and focused in and figured out exactly what I had to do the next day. And for the rest of that day, for that matter. And at the same time, I just said to myself, well, what's the point? Well, the point is that it's totally doable. And at the same time, and this is what kind of gets me, every minute is important. Every hour is important. Every day that we spend making decisions is really, really important on the trajectory of our lives. So let's kind of put this on hold for a second, and let's talk about diet. I always refer to diet because diet is something that we have to we have choices every single day coming at us, and we have to make decisions on those choices very, very often. Sometimes as many as 5 and 6 times a day. What are we going to eat, right? So this is something that a lot of my family actually battles with, and it's interesting, and myself too. I mean, like I said, but I'm at least aware of it. What's the point? What's the point of starting my diet this week? It's Thursday, and Saturday I'm going to a barbecue. What's the point? Well, the point is that you don't have to wait to make better decisions. You could start right now. But then that opens up a whole nother can of worms of what's actually going on in our heads, right? Like, what do we actually believe about ourselves? More importantly, the identity that we have with ourselves. If we identify as a person who is dieting, that means that you are a person who is trying to achieve a goal that has really not that much merit behind it. You're trying to achieve usually some type of superficial goal of losing weight. I mean, depending on how much weight you want to lose, but if it's 10 pounds, you don't need to lose 10 pounds. You want to lose 10 pounds. You may need to lose 60 or 70, depending on your weight. But you want to lose 10 pounds. You want to look better. Whatever. Great. Okay. But if you're saying that you're telling yourself that you are a person who is on a diet, I'm probably counting down the days until you eat that cookie and have that dessert, because ultimately is that if you're on a diet, a diet is not a lifestyle. If you say to yourself, I am a person who eats healthy, the languaging all of a sudden starts to change. And now what the importance of this is that number one, you have, if you do make a mistake, which we all do, we all eat the cookie. If you eat the cookie, it's okay, because you're still a person who eats healthy. So the amount of times throughout the week you eat the cookie, or you have, that bagel, or you have diminished greatly, because first of all, like I said, you are a person who is a healthy eater. You are identified as a healthy eater. But if you're on a diet, that's when you can start creeping in language that says, well, I'll start next Monday. What do you mean you're starting? You are a person who is healthy, who does eat healthy, who makes healthy decisions when presented with choices. So it's so fascinating when we think about productivity, right? You are a productive, hardworking, energetic person. You are not a person who needs to hit 50 visits in the week. Because again, when we think about the languaging, if you are telling yourself that you have to hit this number because this company tells you to, well, guess what? You're probably barely ever going to hit above that number. Because once you hit your goal, and that's it, right? If you tell yourself that you are a productive, really efficient person, then guess what? You're probably going to break that goal, whether it's 50 visits a week, whether it's 100 phone calls a day, whatever it may be for you, whether it's, having perfect attendance in your classroom, whatever it may be, you're probably going to hit that goal because, again, you identify as the person who just makes this happen, which just it is. And again, if you make a mistake, you don't have to say, what's the point? Because you know the point. It's who you are. What's really amazing is that the more and more I talk this through, the more and more it makes just so much more sense about how people are not clear in their life. They don't have a process and outcomes they can actually see for them, and that's why they're constantly riddled with these situations that they have to fight and trudge through. It's just like, no, you are, right? Defining a vision for your life and a purpose of who you are and who you want to become is just the quintessential thing behind all of this stuff. I could teach you the Pareto principle. I could teach you the Pomodoro technique. It just doesn't matter. If you are not a productive person, you're going to fail every time. So who are you? I ask you this today. Who are you? That is the ultimate question. I love this. I hope you do too. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you're able to really think through this today. And I hope you're able to take some time, maybe, coming up to think through and there's a million different processes out there that help you define, your vision and your purpose in your life. I would start with that. Don't figure out what your schedule is going to be tomorrow. Figure out who you are. Guys, thank you so much for listening today on the Upgrade My Rituals podcast. I will be back next Tuesday, of course, with the quick tip, and I'll see you then. Thank you so much.